Hi, I'm Ginell Cooper. Today I'm going to do a tutorial for you teaching how to do a Celtic weave head wrap. I gave my Facebook group, once again, gave my Facebook group some choices. So I wanted to do some quick and fun things because I have quite a few people on my Facebook group who are brand new crocheters, and maybe a market bag or a pocket wrap is a little bit too long of a project for them. So we wanted to do something that you could do quick and kind of get that instant gratification. So this is definitely one of those things, and I gave them a choice between this, a different head wrap, some pumpkins that we're going to do later, and a twisted neck wrap, which we're also going to do later. So I let them all vote. This one won. The next one we're going to do after that is the twisted neck wrap, and the one after that is going to be amigurumi pumpkins and pumpkin coasters. One thing I want to tell you a little bit about is the yarn I'm choosing. The way that we're going to do this, it doesn't matter what yarn you choose. So if you want a thicker one, it'll go faster if you do a thicker one, for sure. But it's you can do a size 4 worsted weight if you want to. I am choosing, once again, because it's my favorite, I'm choosing to use the Lion Brand Homespun yarn. This is a size 5, so it's a slightly bigger hook. So we're going to use a K hook on this one. Oftentimes I've made head wraps and scarves and things where the bottom row doesn't have a lot of give to it, and it's because of that chain. So I started doing the foundation row. It changed my life. I'm hoping it'll change your life too. So that foundation row actually goes a lot faster. It's easier to go back and change if you went one too far or two too far or whatever. You can just back it up instead of having to go all the way back and take down that chain. It's also just softer and stretchier. So you don't have it like one side is super stretchy and the other side is like, can't move it. It's because of that chain that it's like that. So we're gonna use the foundation row on this, but we're gonna do a foundation row in the round. We've done the foundation row oftentimes with my group. We've done it with the pocket wrap. We did it with the 1 hour beanie. Once I learned how to do it, I try to do it for everything. But this time we're going to connect them, and it's a little bit weird. So stick with me on that. We're gonna do triple crochets on this, and we're gonna do a front post triple crochet. It's gonna sound hard, but it's really not. So bear with me. It's gonna be so much fun. Let's get started. Okay guys, so a little bit of backstory on this head wrap. This is about 3 years old, almost 3 years old. I actually made this. I made one for myself and one for my daughter right before we went on a family trip to Scotland. Not realizing, I just thought they were cute, not realizing that they would be the main source of keeping us warm, because I don't know if you know, but in Scotland in October, it's about 10 to 15 degrees colder there than it is in Oregon, which I always thought they had very similar climates. But anyway, these actually kept us warm. We wore them almost every day, and she and I actually, in order to make our wardrobes look like they've changed, we just swapped each other's headbands back and forth. So it got a lot of use. I wear it all the time, all the way through the winter. It's wonderful. One of the great things that I love about it is how open it is. So even though it doesn't look like it's open, it's actually very breathable. So your head doesn't get all sweaty, but it does keep your ears warm, which is awesome. And also, I love that you can't tell where the beginning or the end is. One of the things I love about going by measurement as opposed to chain number is that it doesn't matter what size yarn you have, what size hook you have, how big or how loose your crochet stitches are, how tight they are, because we don't go by gauge, we go by measurement. I measured my head. It's about 22 inches in circumference. So I usually do my head wrap about 2 inches shorter so that it stretches and it fits nice and tight on your head. But this one, actually, if I measure it all the way around, it is actually 21 inches. I think I'm going to stick with 21 inches just because I love the way this fits. So it does stretch, it will stretch, but you don't want it to stretch too much because you kind of lose the joy of that weave look. So I would give it like an inch shorter than your head. We're gonna do a foundation double crochet, and we're gonna do it in multiples of 4 and get as close to 21 inches for me, 21 inches as I can get. But we're gonna do one short of that because that's where we're gonna join, is that last piece. Okay, I just want to put something down so you can see that burgundy a little bit better than you can against the gray. So we're gonna go ahead and start with chaining 3. So you're gonna go ahead and wrap like you're doing a slip knot, right? Do your slip knot, and then you're gonna chain up 1, 2. Actually, I'm just gonna do 2. I prefer 2. I like that. I don't like that when there's an extra stitch there. So we're gonna wrap it like we're gonna do a double crochet. We're gonna go into that first chain from the slip knot, pull up 1, right? So you got 3 loops on there. You pulled up 1. Then you're going to yarn over. You're gonna go through 1 loop, and that is the chain for your foundation chain. Then you're gonna yarn over and go through 2 and 2. And that is your double crochet, right? This might be a little bit easier to see actually. We have in the past done a foundation half double crochet, and it's a little bit harder to see. So right now, what we're gonna do, see where that chain is? There's the 2 pieces of yarn right there. You're gonna go over the top in the hole that goes over the top of those 2 pieces of yarn. That's where your next chain's gonna go. So I know that that has been a huge thing as my group has been trying to learn this. So watch me do this. You're gonna yarn over. You're gonna go through right there where that hole is, 2 pieces of yarn right there. Yarn over, pull through 1, okay? Now you've got 3 on there. Yarn over, pull through 1, that's your chain, and then you're gonna do the double crochet part. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I know it sounds like a lot of steps, but I promise you're gonna love this because it just makes it so much nicer, stretchier. So yarn over like you're doing a double crochet, find where you're gonna go, and it's basically right where those 2 pieces of yarn are. You're gonna go over the top of those. So that hole over the top of those 2 pieces is where you go in, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 1, that's your chain, and then do the double crochet. So yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So essentially you're doing a chain stitch and a double crochet at the same time. That is the plan. So you want to continue doing that until you have gone to about, so I've already done 4 stitches, right? You want to count that first 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you want to get to the point where you are right around the measurement that you want. For me, it's 21 inches, and you want to be a measure or a multiple of 4. But you want to do 1 short of that because we're going to do that last multiple of 4 as the join when we put it in the round. Hopefully that makes sense. So for me, I have no idea what mine's going to be. I'm just going to measure it and try to get it as close to a multiple of 4 as possible. So here we go. I'll see you at the end. Okay guys, so I have a dilemma. I am at 21 inches and I am at 54 stitches. And the only reason I'm telling you the stitch count, because your stitch count is going to be completely different based on what the circumference of your head is, what size yarn you're using, and how tight your stitch is. So don't worry about the number, except that it has to be a multiple of 4. And on this one, we're gonna do a multiple of 4 minus 1 before we join it. So, and right now I'm at 54. So multiple of 4 is either 52 or 56. So I have to decide if I'm gonna make it shorter or longer. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and make it shorter because I'd rather have it fit a little tight as opposed to too loose for me, because I don't like it sliding around on my head. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna go ahead and take it down to 52, and that's what I love about this foundation double crochet, because I don't have to go all the way back and then take down the chain. I just have to take down 2 stitches, which is great. But I'm actually gonna take down 3 because we want that, the join stitch is gonna count as the 4th in that group. So, so you wanna take it down to, for me, 51. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and take this down. 1, 2, 3. Wasn't that super easy? So much easier than going all the way down. And then, see, we're still pretty close to 21 inches. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna join this. Now this is something that my group hasn't done yet, or at least my newbies haven't. Some of the more experienced ones might have. Okay, so wrap it like you're gonna do a double crochet. Then you're gonna go in just like you would to do your first wrap, pull through one, and normally we would wrap it again and pull through again for your chain stitch, but we're not gonna do that this time. We're gonna pull the other side over. So make sure it's nice and straight, there's no twist in it. So skip over, this is the chain 2 right here. Skip over that, go to the first chain, wrap it, pull through that one and also that one. So you basically just made a chain, but you connected the 2 pieces together while you did that. Now, pull this apart because you don't want this chain to end up over on this side, otherwise you've got your yarn going through the hole. So go pull this apart, then you're going to wrap it once, go through 2, wrap it once, go through 2. That's the rest of your double crochet, right? So you can see that the chain connects here. Now we're going to go into the top of that chain 2 that we started with, go through that hole, so you have 2 pieces of yarn there, wrap it once, pull through that, and then pull through that. That's a slip stitch join. There you go. So you have joined in the round and you actually made an extra stitch. So that means that you should have multiples of 4 on there. It should be perfect. We'll find out if it's not. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna skip these 2 stitches right here. And we're gonna go to this one. So you're gonna wrap it twice because we're gonna do a triple crochet, and we're gonna do it, instead of doing it in the top of that stitch like we normally would, this is actually way easier, I think. You're gonna go in here and out here, and this is the front post. So you're going in, you're making a front post triple crochet. So go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. Do it again on the next one. So in here, out there, you just got the whole post there. And what that does is it kind of creates this cool kind of continuous line right there. So it all looks like it goes together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to hit these 2 that we skipped. So wrap it twice, and you're going to go back to the first one that we skipped right here. And you're going to go through the whole post. And you're going to wrap it, go through 2, wrap it, go through 2, and then wrap it and go through the last 2. That is your triple. See what happens? We've kind of made a crisscross. So these 2 are continuing this way. This one's going to go this way. So we skipped, we have one more that we skipped right there. We're going to go into that one now. So wrap it twice, go through the post of this one, and then go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. That's your first crisscross right there. So now we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to wrap it twice. We're going to skip these 2. So we've already done these 2 posts. You can tell because see how there's a continuous line right there. We've done those 2. We're going to skip these 2, and we're going to go into the third one. So again, not the top, but through the post, wrap it and pull through. So that's a triple crochet in the front post. Wrap it twice, next post. Just like that. So you can see the crisscross here. This is the beginning of the crisscross. We skipped these 2, so now we have to go back and do the crisscross going this way. So we're going to wrap it twice and then go back into this post that we skipped, the first one. And then wrap it twice again, and then find that other post that we skipped. So we skipped 2, this is the second one. And go through over that, or I'm sorry, under that post. Okay, so now you've got your first 2 crisscrosses going on. Go ahead and continue all the way around. If your numbers are right, we should get this perfect. So I'll show you what it looks like when we get to the end, but just keep continuing just like that until we get to the end of the row. So we've finished all of that, and now we're back at the very beginning. We've got all of our crisscrosses done, and now we're going to actually go into, you're not going to go in the top of this, you're going to go into the chain that's right before the beginning of this stitch right here, which was our first one, and you're going to join that with a slip stitch, just like that. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to chain up 2. And we're actually going to skip this whole first crisscross. We're going to do these 2 stitches first, and then we're going to go back and carry these ones up. So you're kind of going to do in between the 2 crisscrosses. And then these 2 stitches we're going to do at the very end and connect it all, so it all will make sense. So go ahead and we're going to do our triple crochet. This time you kind of have to look for them. You want to get those 2 stitches that are behind. And what we're going to do in order to make the weave look, these ones are going to go up above. The next 2 stitches are going to come underneath. I know it sounds difficult, but I promise once you get a rhythm going, it's going to make sense. And it'll be a lot easier to see once you have your first 2 rows done. After that, it's a piece of cake. So you're going to go into this first one, front post. And then do it again into the next one. Okay, so see how it went underneath those, and now it's going to continue and go over the next one, and then the next one it'll go underneath. So hopefully that's starting to make sense. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to make you do like a, what do you call it? Like a backwards somersault, triple flip or something, because this is going to feel really weird, but it's going to make sense, I promise. So you want to do your like you're getting ready for your triple crochet, but this time we're going to go backwards. Now we're not going to go backwards this way because this already went over the top. We want it to go underneath. So we're going to go behind those 2, pull up that post, wrap it and pull through, and then do your triple crochet. It's going to feel super weird, but it's going to be also super satisfying because when you see that crisscross come together, it's going to feel really good. So let's do it again. That was the first one. Now we're going to do the second one. And you're going to go pull these guys out of the way, go behind them, pull that post up, wrap, go through, and then do your triple crochet. Just like that. So now what you have happening here is you have this part went under here, and then it's going to go over the next one. So just like this went underneath on this one, it's going to go over on top. Hopefully this is going to start to make sense. We've already done these 2 on the side. We're going to skip those 2, and we're going to go to these back ones over here and pull them this direction. So wrap it twice, find that first post, okay, wrap it twice, go to the second post. You kind of have to dig him out of there. He's like hiding in the back. See him? Just like that. Okay, so hopefully you guys can guess where we're going to go next. So just like we did on this last one, we're going to go get these guys and pull them up, but they're going to go behind, remember? So we're going to do the double wrap. We're going to go behind these guys, grab that post right there, pull it up just so that it's easier to maneuver. Go through 1, wrap, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. Okay, so now we have to do the second one. wrap it twice, go behind these guys. Okay, if I'm gonna lose any of you, it's gonna be right there. If you got that, the rest of this is a piece of cake. You can totally do it. Meet me at the end. Hopefully that was enough times to watch me do that. If not, feel free to rewind and watch that portion again, because I know that that's going to be kind of tricky for some of you, especially my really new people. But now, after you get to the end of this row, you don't have to count anymore, because you'll be able to see if it was under on that side, it's over on this row, it'll be under on the next row and over on the next one. So just keep going. I'll meet you at the end of this row. When we get to the end of that, you're going to go over, see this chain 2 right here that comes up? It's going to go right up into these little crisscrossy guys. This is the beginning of that triple crochet for the beginning of this row. We're going to go into that and then pull it in to slip stitch it to join. From now on, it's going to get way easier. So see how you can see where this goes above, this one goes behind, right? It's going to trade off each row. So every row you're going to skip the first 4 and you're going to start over here. So we're going to go ahead and chain up 2. And in this row, like in the first row, we're going to go ahead, we skip those 4. We're going to go ahead and do these front posts on these ones. And now you can kind of see the line, so it's really easy to just follow that line, right? So these guys, they were on top last time, so now they have to be underneath this time. So this time when we go backwards, we're going to go over the top instead of behind. So does that make sense? So that weaves underneath this time. So double wrap. And again, you kind of have to manipulate your yarn because you have to find those 2 posts. But go back and grab that first post. And do the second one. We're going in the front this time instead of in the back. On the next row, they'll be in the back. Just like that. So you can see that weave starting to happen. It goes under and over. So that one's on top, then it goes underneath, then it goes on top. So next one, we're going to skip these 2 and go over to these. See how much easier it is to see them though, now that they're a fully formed weave, I guess you would say. Okay, so these were underneath last time, they're going to be on top this time. So grab the first one. And then the second one. Just like that. Hopefully that is making lots of sense to you. It's nice and mine, because I'm using homespun, it's a really thick yarn, which I'm excited about because it's going to be nice and warm. So just continue doing that until you go all the way around, and then really you're just going to, this row there, when you go back, it's going to be on top. The next row, when you go back, it'll be behind, just like it was last time. And just keep doing that until it's as wide as you want it to be. So my original one, I'm just gonna have a hard time seeing white on white, but my original one was about 4.5 inches wide. I'm gonna go for that again. I think that's kind of the perfect width, but because I'm using a thicker yarn, it'll be interesting to see. Am I using a thicker yarn? Because those look pretty similar, but it'll be interesting to see if I can get it to be exactly 4.5 inches. It looks like I did, let's see, looks like I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows on this one. So far I've done 2, I'm working on the 3rd row. So we'll see if 6 rows is exactly what we need on the next one too. I come to the end of this row. This is the end of the 3rd row. And this one is going to be a little funky. You want to do that join stitch again, but first you have to find him. So these ones that are heading away from you, that's kind of how you can tell that you got to the end of the third row, because up to this point, these ones have been reaching out for you and you just go extend those on, right? But then when you get to the end of the row, they're reaching away from you at this point. So they're like little arms reaching the other direction. So what you want to do is you want to find the original arms that were reaching towards you, the ones that are now behind, and you want to get to the end of that chain 2, right to the top of that first triple crochet. You're going to go in there and you're going to slip stitch to join it, just like that. Then, just like before, we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip these 4. So there's 4 stitches right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go into the ones that are reaching towards you. Like, remember, think of the little arms reaching towards you, except for now, they're kind of hidden. They're kind of behind these guys. So look for the ones that are reaching for you. That's where you want to go, right there. So you wrap twice, get the first arm, second arm is right there. Okay, so now that you got the ones that are reaching towards you, you want to reach back and get the ones that are, now that you're over here, you're going to reach back and get these ones that are now reaching towards you this way. So, but we're going to go, because we went on the top last time, we're going to go behind this time. So this is row 4. Go back. Grab the first arm, pull him up here so that you can, it's just easier to do it up here. Don't worry, you're not stretching him out or anything. He will go back to where he belongs when you're done with him. Wrap twice, go and get the second one. You're going to go behind, grab the second one, pull him up here, go through and do your triple crochet. Just like that. Okay, so continue that until you get as wide as you want it to be. I probably have this row and maybe one more, and then I'll be done. We'll see. Okay, here we are. I finished my 5th row. Wow, this is just thick. It's gonna be so nice and warm. Look at how fun that is though, how it weaves in and out and so pretty. But you can definitely tell that this is the bottom row and we haven't done a finishing row on top. So what it looks like, I think I did on this, and bear with me, it's been a couple years, but it looks like I did a single crochet to finish the top or the bottom. Can't tell which is which on this one. Looks like I did a single crochet to finish that, and that looked different from what was going on down here. So I turned around and did a single crochet row on the bottom so that they matched. That's what I think I did. On this one, I'd kind of like to see if I can avoid that, because I don't want to have to come down here and, you know, this is so pretty just by itself. So I think what I'm going to do, see how the turn on that changes? This is where the double crochet is right there. And then there's a chain down here. I think that if I just go around and do a double crochet all the way across the top, but I don't do it in the hole. So like, I think the difference too, this makes a very specific row because I actually went in and did them in the chains. I think I want to do is I want to do the front post all the way across on all of it. And then that way you'll avoid that look and it'll look very continuous. I'm going to try it with a double crochet. Double crochet might make it too wide, and I may decide to go back and do it with like a half double so that it's not quite so wide. We'll see. So what I'm going to do is, see how I just like make it up as I go along? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chain up 2, and then I'm going to find the ones that are reaching for me right there. And I'm actually not going to do, am I going to do that one? Yeah, I'll do that one. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the wrap once, because we're doing double crochet now, not triple. And I'm going to go into those front 2, or that front post. And then the next one into that front post. So we're not skipping any stitches now. We're just going straight into it because we don't have to do any crisscrossing. and we'll see if it's gonna give me the look that I want, which is a nice solid line at the top. This is what happens when you make it up as you go. So you gotta kind of dig those guys out of there, right? To find the post. What do you think? Is that gonna give me the look I want? It kind of looks like it. You have to kind of squint and imagine it all the way around, but I think it's gonna look good, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna continue. I'll meet you at the end. Okay guys, I'm at the end of the row. This is where I started the double crochets right here. And you can see how they grabbed those posts, and then they, instead of going in a diagonal, they go straight up. That's where you can tell where it is. I'm gonna go right to the top of that first one. So forget about this guy and just go to the top of that first one. And you're gonna join it with the slip stitch, just like that. And then chain one to kind of secure it. Double check and make sure before I cut any yarn. I always make sure that it looks like I want it to look. I do notice that it is slightly wider than my original one, but not by a ton. I think it'll still be fine. And now the big test will be when I try it on, but I do love how the continuity, it's just different. See how like you can see the single crochet here and the single crochet there, which also looks good, but this, it just looks like it continues on, and I just like it that way. So it'll be a nice change. So anyway, I think I'm gonna cross my fingers. I'm gonna go ahead and let's make sure it's just as wide. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my yarn and weave in the ends, and I'll try it on for you so you can see what it looks like. Okay guys, here's how it looks. Ta-da! All done. It actually fits almost exactly the way the first one did, so I'm pretty excited about that. I love it. I can't wait to wear it. It's a little warm yet. It's starting to get chillier, so that's good. Just wanted to let you know that it took about that much yarn. So maybe half a skein. Maybe not quite half, so you could maybe do 2. Also, it took me about, even with filming, took me about an hour and a half. Trying to figure out how to do that front post triple crochet might make you struggle at the beginning a little bit, but I think even with that, it's still gonna be a super short project to do, which is very satisfying when you can get that done really quickly. So, ta-da! On to the next project.